top 5 stock investments of Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway as of 2023. Today, we will be looking at why Warren Buffett is investing in these stocks and how you can also make money. Welcome to Prima Invest, where we will give you information relating to all things investing. Let's get to the video. Enjoy. Naturally, this is not a shopping list, and you wouldn't just go out and buy everything these excellent investors own. But there's no denying that looking at the portfolios of these elite investors can offer you wonderful ideas and a list for getting started, especially with so many new investors eager to enter the stock market in 2023 following a 20% decline last year. Having stated that, let's turn our attention to the father of value investing and examine the top 5 positions as we approach 2023. Just a few quick context setting remarks before we get into the largest holdings. In this video, we'll be looking at Berkshire's top 5 holdings. However, it's important to keep in mind that this portfolio consists of 49 stocks, meaning that these 5 companies are not Berkshire's sole or even primary companies. Although I can assure you that the top 5 stocks are all Buffett picks. Keep in mind that Ted and Todd also choose stocks for the Berkshire pathway when you're looking at the Berkshire portfolio. Also keep in mind that due to Berkshire's size, they can only invest in the largest companies in the world to be able to invest sufficiently, to make a good enough margin and be profitable. Therefore, these 5 stocks are the best for Berkshire Hathaway's position, though they won't be the highest returning stocks you could hold. Now that we have a background, let's begin the countdown. 5th on the list, at 6.91% of the Berkshire portfolio, is American Express. In 1994, Buffett made his initial investment in American Express, and he hasn't touched the stock since 1998. That may sound crazy, but Buffett actually does this often. He hasn't found a need to sell his stake yet, because his investment approach is very much centered on acquiring great companies and holding them for as long as he can. Buffett invested a total of $1.3 billion, and the investment is currently worth roughly $20 billion. What exactly does the American Express company excel at? They are one of the top 3 card issuers in the world, along with Visa and MasterCard, and I'm sure many of you are familiar with them. They generate revenue in a variety of ways. The consumer credit card business, which collects fees and interest on consumer cards in the US, accounted for much of its revenue in quarter 3 of 2022. This was followed by the commercial credit card business, which collects the same fees and interest but for business cards. All fees from international credit cards came in third, and merchant fees, the fees that merchants must pay American Express in order to accept American Express cards, came in last. The situation does change slightly though. If you consider the cost associated with each of these revenue divisions and instead focus on their pre-tax segment income, the money from overseas cards drastically declines, and the actual income from the merchant takes up a sizable portion of the pie. American Express generates revenue in this manner. It does suggest that you might want to do more investigation into the company. Coca-Cola is Buffett's 4th largest stock, accounting for 7.57% of the portfolio. You've certainly seen Warren Buffett sipping the mysterious elixir of life at various times throughout the years. This stock is a classic of his. Following the sudden stock market fall of 1987, when Coca-Cola's price fell around by 25%, Buffett first invested in the company in 1988. This was the first instance of the Buffett strategy that we have come to know and love today. The strategy of investing in a fantastic company while also acquiring one with a wide deep moat and doing so for a fair price. Buffett later increased the stock in 1989 and 1994. And as of 1995, Berkshire had made a total investment of $1.3 billion. Like his tactics discussed a while ago, Buffett continues to own the shares in American Express, which are still worth over $22 billion even though dividends haven't been factored in. I learned about the significance of moats through Buffett's investment in Coca-Cola. Because of this, Buffett has never had to sell, and the shares are now worth a lot of money. Simply said, Coca-Cola is a huge brand. This was recognized by Buffett in 1988. Most consumers choose Coke out of a wide variety of drinks when given the option. This feature has contributed to Coke's ability to sustain corporate growth to this day, by gradually raising sales volumes and prices. Because of inflation, Coke significantly increased its pricing last year, and its sales increased. Coca-Cola is a fascinating stock that is unquestionably worthy of attention and investigation. If you had the money to invest in a company, what company would that be? Leave a comment down below. Chevron. Chevron is Buffett's third largest holding going into 2023. According to revenue, Chevron is the seventh largest oil firm in the world. It joined the Berkshire portfolio more recently than American Express and Coke. Buffett began purchasing Chevron in Q3 of 2020, but in Q1 of 2022, he made a significant extra purchase of 121 million shares, catapulting the business to Berkshire's fourth largest holding. I'm not an oil stock expert, but in the case of this one, Buffett is just holding a high-quality company that he purchased at a reasonable price. In 2007, Buffett himself commented, "If we're in an oil stock, it's because we think it offers a lot of value at this price. So it doesn't mean that we think the price of oil is going up. If we thought oil was going up, we could just buy oil futures, which we did once." Since Buffett began purchasing both Chevron and Occidental, the globe has seen that the supply of oil has been restricted, and the demand has increased, which has helped keep oil prices fairly high over the past year or two. But it's important to note that Buffett's motivation to buy is not primarily driven by changes in the price of oil. Regardless of what happens with the price of oil, he wants solid economics at the core of the firm. It's also important to note that Chevron is the least Buffett-like firm of these top 5 holdings, since it's not a strong moat. At the end of the day, they produce a commodity, and the price of oil has a significant impact on both their business and stock performance. Even if it doesn't quite match the formula as well as American Express or Coca-Cola, Buffett has done well so far with this investment because the stock is currently at all-time highs. Next, let's talk about Buffett's second largest position, Bank of America. Only 2 positions in the Berkshire portfolio have a double-digit percentage, and this one has 10.3%. Buffett originally purchased shares of Bank of America in 2011, but after exercising stock warrants he acquired in 2011, which enabled him to purchase 700 million shares of common stock at a price of 7.14 cents per share, it became a regular top 10 holding. The amount of that equity holding has grown to over 1 billion shares now, making it worth $30 billion. The main lesson to be learned from this investment is that staying within your area of expertise greatly increases your chances of succeeding in the stock market. In fact, that is how Buffett first bought Bank of America, when many investors were concerned about the bank's capital requirements, according to Reuters. Buffett began investing in Bank of America in 2011 by purchasing $5 billion of preferred stock plus rights to buy 700 million common shares. Many banks were still coping with the effects of the financial crisis at the time. Investors weren't particularly hopeful, and some faced additional regulation. But it's those uncertain times that have everyone concerned, and you genuinely comprehend the company you're looking at and the industry it belongs to. You can locate some really wonderful long-term prospects. The same thing happened to Buffett at the banks. 10 years later, Buffett is still in the lead. This suggests that perhaps the company is worth our further investigation. Hey, if you enjoy this type of content, do give us a like and subscribe. And at number 1, Apple. Apple is Buffett's by far the largest position. The stock is currently a whopping 41% of Berkshire Hathaway's stock portfolio, making it literally 4 times larger than Bank of America's position. This is one of Warren Buffett's best investments by the extent of the return in terms of pure dollars. It was in Q1 2016 that Buffett first invested in Apple, purchasing 39 million shares. Still, it wasn't until Q4 2016, the entirety of 2017, and the beginning of 2018 that he truly began to pour a significant amount of money into the business. During that time, he spent about $36 billion, purchasing about 950 million Apple shares. The fact that Apple's PE ratio was between 13 and 16 at the time, because investors were worried that revenue growth had slowed, and the market had become saturated with the iPhone. A perfect example of Buffett buying a fantastic company at a fair price. Buffett, however, was able to break through the clutter and discovered that Apple's brand and switching strategy were so powerful that even if iPhone sales had reached a saturation point, there were still a number of alternative opportunities for Apple to continue growing both their top and bottom lines. Apple had a moat that allowed them pricing power even if iPhone sales never increased again or if they could just increase their prices. He acquired as many shares as he could because it was priced at a reasonable PE for a large tech company, and it worked out. The initial $36 billion investment has grown exponentially to $120 billion worth. Interestingly, investors are once more feeling a little uneasy about Apple because the stock has dropped by around 30% over the past year. Watching what Buffett does with a position this year could be informative. This concludes the 5 stock investments of Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway as of 2023. Comment down below which one of these stocks you found interesting, and which of them you would consider buying. Thanks for watching. For more videos like this, click the link shown on screen. Remember to give us a like and subscribe to our channel. And as always, have a good one.